How's your fast going?
This Ramadan has been very, very easy. I hate to say easy,
That way.
huh?
Why did you say Ramadan that way?
Oh, sorry. This Ramzan.
No, you said Ramadan.
What's Ramadan? How do you want me to say it?
Ramadan.
Ramdan. This Ramdan has been it's been easier than I recall. So as you know, I have my whole thing of where the anxiety and all that stuff. But this
hmm
year, starting from the first one, it just hasn't been that hard. And I was thinking maybe it's me, but I think that's been the experience for a couple of people. I know our brother felt the same way. Our mother feels the same way. For me, the change has been, I think, this could just be a mental change thing, but like I'm not really worried about being hungry anymore because I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm hungry all the time. I know what hunger is, right? But I also know that I can eat at a certain point. And so then now what I'm thinking about is like, you know how we're supposed to like take a lesson away from all the fasting,
Yeah.
but we never do. All we do is just we're
Complain.
just miserable, yeah,
Yeah.
and just complain. The lesson is really the insecurity part of food insecurity, which is like, yeah, we do this thing, we do this exercise for 30 days, but we also know that we're also going to be able to eat. There are people out there in the world that actually are insecure. That's the actual stuff. It's not just hunger. So that part of it has been pretty good. My energy, listen to me. There's like an hour and a half left. It sounds so peppy.
You do sound so peppy.
I
Well,
know.
I haven't been fasting for the last week. So,
Gross.
for listeners, if you don't know, you don't fast if you are on your period because it's obviously unhealthy to be losing blood the way that we do while also not taking in any nutrition. So you don't fast during
Yeah.
that time. So I haven't been fasting, but let me tell you something. The sun being out and the weather being as yummy as it is the same week that I am not fasting just tells me that like God loves me. I'm one of God's beloved children because I'm having a great week. Having the time of my life. The sunroof is open. It's looking good. I mean, it's cold the last 2 days, but the sun is shining. I also think I'm a happier person when the sun is out, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like,
The
I
Lord
think,
said
yeah. Yes, the Lord said
the
what?
the Lord said, "Let there be light, and let her bleed."
So I think that like daylight savings initially, that switch happening the same day as the
Mhm.
first fast, I was like, oh, brother, this is going to be tough. But I think that it actually may also be helping you with your fast because I
Mhm.
think we all feel better when we get more sunlight and like when we get more daytime. So I think that maybe also might be why you're having an easier time fasting.
Maybe I know during my work meetings, usually historically it's been tougher in the mornings
hmm
and stuff.
hmm
This year, not at all. Like I'm ready, set, go, for my for my work meetings, and then I'm good until like 2, and then I'm going to like the gym at
Wow.
2, and then I come back, and then I do get tired. Like I'm tired right now, but it's not that hard.
I've learned over the years that like the thing that I'm struggling with every year changes or over like not every year changes but over a period of time has changed, right? So like
Hmm.
I think about when I was a kid, the hardest part was just like not eating. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't eat. Like that's so difficult. And then as I got older, it was like, okay, no coffee. Like no coffee is really, really hard. And then I got a little bit older and I was like, okay, like in the last I'd say 5, 6 years, like the water. Like I'm not getting enough water. I'd say this
Wait,
year, yeah.
you can't drink water?
It's just so annoying. Um, but for what's it called? The last this year, I feel this year and last year, it felt like sleep. Like
Hmm.
sleep is a thing that like is the hardest thing for me to, be detached from during Ramadan. So maybe it's supposed to work where like every year you become more and more like, you know, able to
Yeah.
experience the sacrifice or like able to withstand the sacrifice a little bit more. Again, I'm saying this as a person who hasn't fasted in a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a lot of thoughts for somebody that has not been fasting.
I mean, I did for 3 days. And then I was like, woo. So listen, there's a lot of converts this year. With the first week of Ramadan, we had Fraud King. Then we have now, this last week, we've got Little John. Lil John?
Yes. Lil
Not
Jon, yes.
little. Lil.
Lil Jon, yeah. There's
Yeah.
also another rapper. I don't know what his rap name is, but he goes by, or his big song is Bing Bong. Have you heard of Bing Bong?
I have no idea what you're saying.
He's a white gentleman, and he has a song called Bing Bong, and he recently converted. So,
You know, like this. Bing Bong rapper.
uh-huh.
Because the only Bing Bong I know is from Inside Out. And I don't
Bing
believe
Bong.
that Nems.
Nems, yeah.
Okay. All right, good for Nems. I'm not familiar with
Mashallah.
him. He's from Alhamdulillah. Okay, his name is actually Gorilla Nems. His real name, his government name is Travis Doyle, and he hails from the island of Coney.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I think he got famous, or he got famous again because a couple years ago, the Knicks fans were chanting "Bing Bong," which I think is his song. So that's how I heard of him. Well, I
When
heard
I when I Google Nems Muslim, it gives me Muslim names. So I don't think
Did you see?
what?
Speaking of converts and people being interested in Islam,
Uh-huh.
there's this clip circulating of brother Will Smith. Brother Will Smith in Egypt. He's on a podcast and he's talking about the Quran and how he read it and the clarity and all those things.
Well, I believe that Jada and Will both are like, they're like they dabble in all of it. I
A
think that
little bit of everything.
they're like, why not take a little bit in more ways than one? They're like a little bit of everything. That's why I think Scientology works so well for Will, allegedly, is because you get to like take a little bit of everything. And so, because there's like that picture, like I think a couple of years ago, of like Jada in like full hijab sitting on a janamaz, on a prayer rug. And so everybody was like, did Jada convert? And it's like, no, Jada's just like hanging out in Dubai and she like loves the fashion. And
Yeah.
Jada's doing a thing. And she was, and it was like Ramadan Mubarak. And we all thought that she converted, but she was like, no. Just appropriating a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, congratulations to them. Just on the topic of Scientology, I did want to bring up the chief Scientologist in all of our lives, yours especially, Tom Cruise. Did you see why he was trending today?
No.
I'd love to tell you about it.
Please.
Okay.
Wait, is this going to make me angry? Am I going to have to defend him?
No. It's going to actually make you really happy. I saw this and I was like, oh, that son of a bitch is going to love this. Okay. Tom Cruise was spotted performing his own stunts atop the Hollywood sign.
Ah, that's perfect. Doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Of course, he does his own stunts. I am interested in the Hollywood signs part of it. Is that a Mission Impossible thing? That's too on the nose?
He loves the movies.
Yeah, the movies. And he loves his popcorn.
He loves his popcorn. I saw a tweet that said Tom Cruise was seen climbing the Hollywood sign. First of all, that's his house. So congratulations to him. All right, good for him. Now we have to get to obviously the main event, the thing that's on all of our minds is the Royals. But before we do, I want to just bring it down to some very depressing conversation because of what I was just recently watching. And by recently, I mean 15 minutes ago.
Can I guess what it is?
Yeah.
Depressing, and you were recently watching it? Is it this Nickelodeon thing?
It is. It is. Now, you're not as affected by the Nickelodeon stuff because you weren't a Nickelodeon kid.
No, I think I got out of Nickelodeon probably like 95, 96. So
like right when you moved here, yeah.
Right when we moved here, yeah. I think the summers before when we came here, I was really excited about Nickelodeon. The only thing that I remember watching and enjoying was Salute Your Shorts.
It's a good one.
It was a good. It was a nice hang after middle school, like for the first hour or so. Whatever they would have, that was good. But then I just moved into sports.
Yeah, you did, and then Rosie O'Donnell, Oprah, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy.
That was our we lost cable too at some point.
Nightly News with
Yeah,
Peter Jennings,
Peter Jennings.
obviously.
Yeah,
Um, what a bunch of dorks.
God
Anyway,
rest his soul.
I know. So I watched this. It's on Max. It's called Quiet on the Set. There's 4 episodes that have released so far. I've only watched 3. I was like starting episode 4 and like sweating. I'll be honest, I was watching it while working so that I could like kind of focus my brain on other stuff too, because it is
Mm-hmm.
so heavy to watch. I also read earlier this year, I read the book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, by Jeanette McCurdy from
Mm-hmm.
iCarly. And so she was a Nickelodeon kid, right? And then she had her own spinoff with Ariana Grande and all this stuff. And she was like very heavily influenced by Dan Schneider, who is like the creator of all these shows.
Yeah.
And so the whole documentary, Quiet on the Set, is about like the experience of these kids who like were on Disney and all this stuff. And it just, or sorry, not Disney, Nickelodeon. It's so bad and it's so heavy. And so there's like that part of it, right? Of like the shit that like was going on sets in the 90s and 2000s at a place that is employing children. Like we always heard about like child actors, like obviously on like all these TV shows that are like on ABC or CBS, but it was like child actors on shows with other adults.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon was like an entire studio that is made of all the working people on camera are children.
Yeah.
And there's very few adults, and the adults that are there are all adults off camera, and they're all adults who are like telling the kids what to do. And there's not quite the protection that you think is going to exist. So I think like Nickelodeon came to be in the 90s and 2000s at a time when like I don't think that Hollywood or entertainment industry had figured out like child labor laws for kids in like the entertainment industry, because of the way the entertainment industry is set up. You work like really grueling hours. So there's like that part of it. And so I'm watching this documentary. I'm thinking about all this stuff from that. But then I started thinking about like influencers. And so my kids, I hate YouTube families. I hate YouTube families. Like I think I was over at your place the other day and we were talking about like I hate YouTube families. I don't like them. I think they're weird. I think the parents are weird. There's something very icky about it. Like I've watched a couple of things here and there. Like there's a lot of like ASMR stuff with like YouTube families now. There's a lot of like zooming in on kids playing with toys and hands and crinklies and all that stuff. And like they're yes. Yeah.
You know what freaks me out about YouTube families is
Yeah.
when I think about like them doing multiple takes with the kids.
Yes.
Being like, oh no, that wasn't good enough. Do it again. And it just, I can't imagine like living in a house like that. I'm sure the money's real nice, but
no. So that's the thing. So there was a Vogue article maybe like a year or two ago about momfluencers and like parentfluencers. So like there's YouTube families and then there's like the momfluencers who are basically famous for being moms on Instagram and on TikTok, and they do all these skits with their kids. And there's like a couple of things about it that have always made me feel very alarmed, right? Number one is that these children are being presented for content, and it's without their consent, right? Like the issue with watching some of the Nickelodeon stuff is that they are essentially like all these things were happening to the kids without really their consent. It was just their job to do it. So like getting slimed and having shit thrown on their faces. Like, yes, that's part of your job. But when you're like a 9 or 10-year-old child actor, how much agency do you have to say, I don't like that, and this makes me feel unsafe? And obviously that unsafety on this documentary leads to way darker, way sadder stuff. But I think about like from the context of like influencers today and like how people make money off of their children on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever. Like those kids don't really have agency. Like, yeah, they're doing it because their mom and dad are telling them to do it. But like, what's going to happen when those kids grow up and they're like we're going to have an entire, like right now we're looking at child actors from Nickelodeon and Disney and how fucked up their lives were. We're going to have an entire generation of children that were like became famous on TikTok and YouTube without really understanding how like big that is and like the responsibility they have. And I just started to get really sad.
The difference in the YouTube thing that I would think of is, I think you make more money doing YouTube than actors were, or those kids actors were getting paid by Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah, but
So,
that also it makes me nervous because it's not like that money is going to the kids.
hmm,
That
yeah, no,
money
of
is still
course,
going to parents, right?
yeah,
And so we have this is like an entire new arena of way to make money, and there's no like labor laws for kids
yeah,
making money on the internet, right? And then you add on to it another layer, which always freaks me out, which is that there are a lot of creeps online that
yeah,
actually watch a lot of this
yeah,
content because it's a fetish. Like some of the clips they're showing of on Quiet on the Set of a lot of the stuff that like Dan Schneider wrote on his shows.
yeah,
There's like a lot of foot stuff. There's a lot of squirting stuff. There's a lot of like overtly sexual, inappropriate jokes that are made for adults to hear on kids' shows that are specific. And they're not just like adult jokes, they're sexual jokes
yeah,
that little kids won't pick up on when they're watching. But if a grown up is watching a little kid do that, that's a turn on for a pedophile.
yeah.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. Like, I remember in the 90s and 2000s, like, it was a thing. Like, all of these like young kid stars, like
Yeah.
when Mary Kate and Ashley were going to turn 18, that
Yeah.
used to be a topic of conversation,
Yeah.
amongst like grown men,
Yes.
and like Hillary Duff and those things like that, right? And this is like the 2000s. There really wasn't social media. I think if somebody puts that on social media now, at the very least, they get called out on it.
Yeah.
Um, but that doesn't stop the fact that I'm sure there's a lot of predators that are watching this stuff for that reason. And I don't, it's
Ay, ay,
just,
ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay,
yeah,
ay.
it's just bad.
It's bad stuff. Okay, a couple more things I wanted to tell you about. Now you've been talking about Dune a lot.
Hmm.
I wanted to read you this tweet that I saw, which I thought was interesting because you watched Dune too, and you did love it, and you
Yeah.
recommended that I also watch it.
Take an edible and watch it.
Okay, Dennis Villeneuve, is that his
Denny
name?
Villeneuve.
Okay, Denis Villeneuve, the director, showed Dune 2 to a dying person a month before the film's release.
Hmm.
The person fell asleep just before the end and died a few hours later. His
Oh,
last moment on Earth was to see Dune 2. Denny said, "It's for these people that we make cinema." My question to you is, what's a movie you'd want to watch right before you die?
right before I
I
die.
feel like it has to be a Mission Impossible.
No, I don't
It's
know.
got to be a TC number.
It depends. I know I'm going? I
It's,
know I'm going,
I think
right?
this person knew that they were dying.
Yeah, of course. How do I want to feel on the way out? I guess a TC, like a Mission
Like, do you
Impossible
want
would
to
be
be
nice.
watching something? Like, wouldn't you want to be like surrounded by your family?
But what is my family gonna? I also have to watch my family and hear them. I would much rather watch and hear, beautiful people with music in the background. I don't want to hear my stupid family.
Okay, I'll make myself
The
busy that day.
the dialogue is curated, and there's gonna be nice music. I would think I'd want to watch something inspirational. Maybe Braveheart at the end of Braveheart. Is that
Oh
messed
my
up?
god, you would. And then you'd be like, you know what? Chop my head off too.
What
I mean
would you
that
want to watch?
that scene though at the very end of Braveheart
Hmm.
when he sees the princess,
Oh,
right? He
yeah.
sees her?
No, he doesn't see the princess. He sees his
First
ex-wife.
wife. Yeah, his
Hmm.
first wife. Yeah. What movie would I want to watch?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm sorry. What would you want to do instead?
Just take a nap, 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 nap. Sleep, sleep.
Nappity nap nap. You
Nappity
want to
nap.
listen to like any music or anything like that?
I sleep to white noise. So
Sounds like a really boring death.
I want the most boring death in the world. That's what I want. I want
No
like
fanfare.
no fanfare, please. I beg of you. That's why I always tell Fahad, if at some point we get to the point where like I can no longer recognize you, I'm writing this down on paper.
Hmm.
Give me the best you got. Feed me a nice meal. Give me some meds. Give me a
Okay.
nice little cocktail or something. Give me a little cuddle and put me to sleep. We
Just
don't
throw
need
me in a
to.
cardboard box.
No, we don't need. No, let's not be ridiculous.
Leave me outside on trash day. Biodegradable.
I just imagine him breaking down boxes and then being like, all right, this down too. Just my body parts. Anyway, you want to talk about the Royals?
Should we? Is it time?
I think it's time. So we were going to record yesterday, but I was like, we got to wait
Mhm.
because every day there's new information. So
Yeah,
last week I filled you in on everything and you were like, this is so stupid.
I was very much.
And then in a week's time, the tables have turned.
They have turned considerably.
Okay.
Now I was following along. I was
Okay.
just kind of in the ether, you know, because you told me about it. I was like, oh, let me see what this Lady Rose is all about. And I did remember her, and
Yeah.
I was right. So she was in the news, like I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, when there were
Hmm.
stories about Will cheating or whatever. So
Yeah.
I gave myself a little refresher, and then I was like, her really okay. But then I was just kind of following along, and like people are talking about it or whatever. And then yesterday I saw that there was some Big Kate news,
Uh-huh.
right? And I was like, okay, let me see what the Big Kate news is. And I went and I watched this video. And the
Yes.
video, that's when I texted you. I was like, we need to talk about this because, like, I watched it and
Uh-huh.
something in my head, my favorite, my favorite reaction photo that I share with my friends all the time
Uh-huh.
is when we don't trust each other. I think I've probably shared it with you a couple times also. It's a
Yes.
picture of young Harry Potter with his hand up by his, like he has his hair back so you can see his scar,
Uh-huh.
and on the bottom it says "Mate pe chutiya lakha hua hai."
You've never sent that to me, but
I
let's just
haven't.
tell the listeners what that
Yes.
means. It means, does it say asshole on my forehead?
Yeah, asshole fucker. In this context, I think it would just be like a gullible moron, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Do I
you
look
try
like
to.
a fool? Yeah.
Do I look like a fucking fool to you?
Yeah.
And I saw that video and I was like, that is what I feel in my heart. And this could be probably because you and our other cousin were talking about like the fact that we can't believe that we were ruled by these people for centuries.
Okay, that's the biggest thing. Let's like roll it back.
Uh
Okay, the
huh.
fact that like, all right, a couple of things happened. Yesterday was a Monday. I have UK colleagues that I have a call with every Monday, and so
Uh
I
huh.
was on the phone with them. We were trying to be totally chill with them, like, oh yeah, the launch, blah blah blah, and we had like 15 minutes to spare at the end of the call. So I was like, hey, anybody, what else? What else do you guys got going? Anything to report to you? Like, is there what's going on? Anything else? And they were like, no, everything is fine here. And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. Like nothing to, no, like missing family members or anything. And then they started laughing and they were like, no, they were like, what are you talking about? They're like, there's literally nothing going on. And then I was like, I know even more now that something is amiss. You don't get on the phone with me and act like everything is totally fine when we're we're down a royal. We don't know where she is.
You think that the royal subjects have bought in on this? They're like, we don't question. This is the royal family. We don't. We
I
don't. It's
think
not our place.
See, here's the thing. I think that I think obviously they're like they don't respect the monarchy at all because they think that
Hmm.
they're stupid, right? But like they look at I feel like they look at the monarchy as like we had the world
Yeah.
and you guys lost the world for us, so we don't even respect you anymore.
Uh
Whereas
huh.
for us, the subjects who are no longer subjects of theirs, we're
Hmm.
still suffering from them ruling over us. So for us, we enjoy when things are falling apart for them.
Yeah.
So we pay more
Exactly.
attention to it and we enjoy it, but then we also get angry. Like, how in the world did these people rule the whole world?
For centuries.
Mate pe chutia hai. Like we are the assholes. Because
Yeah.
what the hell? Like how did that happen?
Yeah.
Now this video. You watched this video. What was your immediate thought?
I didn't buy it for a fucking nanosecond. Nary a nanosecond did I buy it.
Okay, first of all, okay, this woman had abdominal surgery that was
Hmm.
allegedly going to keep her out of public view until the 29th of March. Today is the 19th. We're 10 days out, okay? So We're thinking she's her abdominal surgery. It's so bad that she can't even get a picture with her kids on
Yeah.
Mother's Day. She's got to
No.
Photoshop one from
Yeah.
God knows when, right? Bad Photoshop at that.
Hmm.
And then we get a picture of her and Will's just la-di-da carrying groceries at the farmer's market. And on top of that, the thing that was the most unbelievable is that the people around them, the people on the benches and stuff at this farm shop or whatever, that's what it
Hmm.
was called, farm shop, I think, which
Yeah.
is like also silly. They're no reaction. They're just
No,
sitting
of
there.
course not. The
They're
Future
acting.
King, whatever. You see it every day.
Every day, Future King and his missing wife. Who cares? Who cares? So what? We've seen it before.
Yeah.
You're gonna get me to believe that that is
No.
real?
Nope. I
And
have.
and okay, why in the world are we is they still think that we're gonna believe them with those fuzzy pictures. Why are you making videos on a Motorola Razor?
Yes, exactly. The blurry pictures, I haven't. So I haven't. I was trying to think back. I haven't trusted a blurry picture. So you remember, remember Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
Remember he had a little sex addiction thing. He went to a rehab center, right?
Okay.
And somebody snuck in. They found out where he was, and they took this long, blurry picture of Tiger Woods, right? But it actually was Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Now, what they did, because he was in a sex addiction rehab center,
Uh-huh.
and apparently, I guess maybe they didn't like that. So
Uh-huh.
then the next day, there were these clear pictures of just another African American man walking around the same path, which wasn't the same guy as the picture in the past. So what Tiger Woods' people were trying to say was that Tiger Woods wasn't actually at this rehab, but he really was, right?
Okay.
I have not trusted blurry pictures since then. Like, you know, I think in terms of paparazzi, I think we know that that there's a game that gets played, right?
Yeah.
By the celebrities. Like, they call people over, they get information out, blah, blah, blah. The firm especially knows
Yeah.
about this stuff. And the fact that we are post a Photoshop failure, and the best that the firm can do is a blurry picture makes me really, really concerned.
A
I'm like,
blurry video. There are videos from Rihanna playing at the Ambani wedding, which by the way, we haven't even talked about. But Rihanna at the Ambani wedding, there
mhm,
is video of her, of people in the middle of the streets getting the shot of her
yeah,
on stage. And it is so clear.
yeah,
It's as if they're right next to her. And you're telling me that you got a blurry ass video of her and Will and Kate walking around with
mhm.
grocery bags? First of all, grocery bags, please.
That's the other thing. Like, we know, like, we've watched The Crown. These people don't pick out their own clothes. They stop by to get bread.
Just do 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 do. And then on top of that, you want to know what else? You know what else is given away?
Hmm.
The TMZ reporter, the person who the video that was released into the British tabloid. Do you know how much
Yeah.
it was paid? How you know who was mysteriously paid for that video?
Who?
Whoever was, they were mysteriously paid $200,000 for that video.
Please,
You're
please,
gonna tell me that's real? You know that
please.
video of that lady on the plane?
Ye Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it. I was like, "That motherfucker is not the real queen." No, no, no.
No way. No way. Now, allegedly, there is supposed to be some sort of announcement made.
Yeah,
And Barack Obama, like, casually flew in
yeah. His
to, like,
pictures were clear.
super clear
Yeah,
because that's what clear pictures look like.
yeah,
Okay. Also, like, the thought that, like, paparazzis are still, like, walking around with those, like, long lens cameras, like,
yeah.
what are you doing? We have phones. Please, please. But yeah, Barack Obama is like casually in for a visit, and everybody's like, it was probably Michelle being like, "Can you just find out what's going on?"
Is she alive? I'll say this: if the video is actually real,
Mhm.
um, we can put the BBL rumors to rest. I think.
No BBL to be seen.
No.
None. And I love the internet because like immediately like tons and tons of like pictures of uh like world class William and Kate impersonators rolled in.
Yeah.
Like tons of videos and pictures of them being like, this could be literally a million people in London who do this work.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
No way.
fine. It's fine.
So what's the royal family actually saying? The royal family is actually saying that this is them. Have they commented on the video?
No, they haven't. It like there mysteriously was in the tabloids, and somebody got paid $200,000 for it. Please. And also, why was it at TMZ? Obviously, if it was British tabloids, it would be the Sun or the Daily Mail.
Exactly. It feels like they are trying to keep it far away enough from themselves that it doesn't come back to them.
Yeah, which is like, we're not idiots.
And
We're not.
again, we have free time.
Yeah, exactly. They think that we're too busy like to be like caring. I think maybe the people in the UK are too busy to care
No, I
because
don't think so.
but I think they need to know Americans are not.
No, we got nothing going on. But
We
we
got
are all trying to avoid the election. We don't want
oh
to
my
think about
god.
it.
We're trying not to think about the impending doom in what, 6 months? 4 months?
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather wonder if the royals are falling apart cuz that's far more
Kate's alive.
interesting to me. Yeah.
Now, what do you think is actually going on? What is the thing? Do you think it's a divorce thing? Do you think I
I think
hope
it's a divorce thing.
Okay.
I think it might be a divorce thing. I think maybe it's possible she's sick. It's possible that something really crazy happened. Look, abdominal pain. Initially, she was taken out of there was like an ambulance that came and got her that
Mhm.
led her to the hospital, and then they said, "Oh, it was a planned surgery." The lady might have cysts in her ovaries. Like she might have fibroids. What being a woman is a hellscape. So it could be
Mhm.
literally anything, right? It could be so many things. But I also think that there is maybe she's had it. Maybe she's sick of their shit. Maybe she
Could
wants a
be.
divorce. I will say this. This Rose lady. Now the rumor about her is that this old man that she's married to is a gay man. Why are you raising your hand?
It happened by mistake. I don't know how to turn it off.
I think you just click on it and
Oh, there
stop
you go.
raising your hand. What, have you never been on a Zoom? What's wrong with you? Anyway.
I just know how to send the clappies.
So this old man, apparently that she's married to, is
Mhm.
possibly gay. The other thing is that she now has all these like gorgeous Vogue, like she's a model. And so there's all these like spreads that she's had, these like photos that she has. And the internet is eating it up. Like,
Mm.
oh, she's kind of slaying.
Yeah, she's all right. I mean, I don't want to say anything too mean about her looks or anything like that, but
She's very British.
she's
She's a
very
very
British.
British looking, but she photographs incredibly. Like,
From certain angles, yes, I'm sure
yeah, she photographs like a gorgeous Victorian sickly woman. And I think that that's like a look that can go really well in like editorials. I watched a lot of America's Next Top Model. I know the
Okay.
look. Yeah.
She's giving me Black Plague.
Yeah. It's giving cholera. Is it cholera?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. So she got soft launched on the internet, and the internet obviously is eating it up. They're like, yeah, slay mama, you're killing it. So yeah.
Do you think it's possible for Will to make that switch? I don't think it is. You think that people would accept it?
Hello, Camilla is the Queen of England.
That's true. I was trying to think. I was like, well, but Kate is really beloved, but I was like, Diana was really beloved too.
Diana was so beloved. Um, is when did Camilla and Charles get married?
They got married within the last 15 years, I want to say.
After Diana died and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're gonna be fine. It's fine.
Wait, you think Kate's got to go? You
Like
think,
death?
yeah,
No, 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 no.
the Henry VIII situation?
I think that they might be worried that if she does divorce him, that she's gonna like let the cat out of the bag. Like she's gonna go the Meghan route or the Fergie route of just being like, I'm gonna go and hop over the pond and support Harry and Meghan and confirm all this stuff that they've been saying about the royals. So maybe they're trying to come up with like a good like settlement deal
Hmm.
that like gives her a lot of money and access and security, and then she's like, I won't open my mouth about all the shit that I've been having to endure with you motherfuckers.
Now, this, if it does happen, this is now we're seeing a pattern of failed marriages for the royals. Do you think that's a reflection on these royals specifically, or do you think that's just a reflection on marriage?
I think it's a reflection on marriage, but also these royals. I think it's everybody. It's like all
Yeah.
of the above. I think it's all of the above. I think that marriage is bad and so is two horrible institutions, the royals and marriage. I think we can agree that both are not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, how did the Spanish have a royal family too, right?
Yeah, but I think it's like one of those like meh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. What other thing? There was also rumors that apparently, Nostradamus. You familiar with him and his work?
Ever
Okay.
heard of them?
Ever heard of him? Apparently there is a he did a what's it called? Premonition?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Isn't it?
What is it called?
Prediction?
Prediction. Premonition. That's what Charity used to have on Passions. Anyway, premonitions. He had a premonition, or he had a prediction that in this around this time the royal family will fall and they will be
Oh.
replaced by an unexpected new leader. And I was like, Rishi Sunak?
Taylor Swift?
Well, speaking of Taylor Swift,
Oh no.
um my kids did end up watching, we put on the Eras movie on
Hmm.
Disney, and we put it on like whatever casually. But my husband and the little one, they were sitting, they were watching, they were loving,
Yeah,
they were
what's not to
living.
love?
Anyway, not related to Taylor Swift, but sort of related to her. Everybody's like, oh, Travis Kelsey, he's like riding her coattails. He's
Mhm.
gonna try to do this, he's gonna try to do that. Well, guess what? He is. Because the latest news about Travis Kelsey is that he is in talks to host Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? The Amazon Prime reboot of the original show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
That doesn't sound like a bad deal.
I know I'm joking. What's the sarcasm? That was me
Mm.
being sarcastic. I was joking.
Oh,
There's no coattails to ride. The
no.
man has won like 4 Super Bowls. I think he's going to be fine.
3. Yeah, he's the greatest tight end of all time.
Let's
He'll be
relax.
fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else happened? Yeah, that's it. Oh, Justin Timberlake is out there and he is now doing these concerts. And he's been rolling out the NSYNC boys with him.
Is he?
Yeah. Do you know that also speaking of boy bands, did you know that Joey Fatone and AJ McLean are on tour together?
On tour together.
That's right.
Well, so they played the same role in their respective bands, right?
Oh, no, I don't know. Did they?
Pretty
Jo-
much AJ sang more than
AJ
Joey.
sang a lot more than AJ was the bad boy.
AJ was a bad boy, and I think Joey was meant to be the bad boy, but he was just I don't think he was attractive enough, sorry, to be the bad boy, so he became like the fun guy.
I will say this, Joey Fatone has aged well. JC Chasez is everybody's king, but
Mhm.
Joey has aged quite well because he aged at 21. And so
Yeah.
then after that, it was like, it can't go down from here. Like he's been pretty steady. I always thought that they tried to market Chris Kirkpatrick as the bad boy of NSYNC
Really?
because he did have the funky hair, you
Yeah, this
know?
is funny. I didn't know that we were gonna be talking about this, but yesterday,
Uh-huh.
my playlist
Uh-huh.
was just Backstreet Boys and NSYNC,
It's so
um,
good.
because I was looking for something poppy, and there is a song I think is God must have
Spent a little
spent a little.
time on you, yes.
The
It's called
first
God must have spent parentheses a little more
a
time
little
on
more
you.
on you, on you, on you. I think the first verse of that is all Chris, and I think that's the only time I've heard Chris.
Chris is also his vocals are heavily featured in I Drive Myself Crazy.
I lie awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey. When's the last time we heard Joey?
In My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I think that's the last time I heard him.
Joey's big lyric is "whoopa."
Yeah. It's not whoopa, it's oppa.
Is it O? I always thought
Yeah.
there was a W at the beginning.
No, no.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. So anyway, Justin Timberlake is rolling out the NSYNC boys because I think that as a solo artist, he's still not getting the
He's not selling it.
attention. So he's not selling it.
I was listening to Future Sex Love Sounds
Ugh,
yesterday.
so good.
That 7 minute, I think that she
Interlude.
knows.
Ugh,
Oh God, so
incredible.
good.
Sometimes I just put that on and just forward it to that part.
I
Boom,
thought of
boom,
doing
boom,
that.
boom, boom, boom. But you know what the thing is? You need to deal with the first few minutes of the song in order to appreciate
One
the
hundred
interlude.
percent. Yeah, you got to have the pain. You have to endure before. You got to have the vegetables. You got to eat the vegetables before you get to dessert.
Do you like his new song?
I haven't heard it,
It's not
and
bad.
so in the moment, that's what I was because full disclosure, I wasn't just listening to these randomly. I was listening to them on the Stairmaster. It was 30 minutes in, just pumping away, sweating bullets, just listening to it. And I was thinking, Justin Timberlake is an extremely talented person. One
Hmm,
of the probably one of the most one of the most talented entertainers of our lifetime. I'm sure, but I do believe he peaked
yeah.
in 2007 to 2007 to like 2010. That's it.
I
I,
think that Justin Timberlake, if he had gone the route of a Ryan Gosling, because they were both
mhm.
Mickey Mouse boys. I think that if he didn't go the boy band route and he went the acting route, he could have probably been like pretty popular. Like I think that he would have been like popular in a different way where I don't think that he would have had a burnout like he's having right now, right? Like but I think that like he went the boy band route, then he went the acting route, and then he came back to the solo artist, and that didn't really like go as far as it could. And so now he's like going back to like, let's just go back to nostalgia and start touring with JC, who
Mhm.
apparently still has the best vocals of the group.
Yeah, I think his acting is probably what screwed him. I think
Yeah,
maybe if he just stayed being a musician, like a serious musician,
maybe.
for
Yeah.
like the last 15 years, it would have been different. But the acting thing really it annoyed me.
Yeah. Yeah. He's out there. He's taking pictures of himself with his shirt up, showing people his abs. It's like, dude, you're
What
43.
really?
Relax. Yeah. Unless you're Tom Hardy, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. Now, you don't really care about this, but I think it's important because it's related to the Royals. Another thing that is going to be emerging on Easter on 3/29 weekend,
Hmm.
besides potentially Kate Middleton,
Yeah.
is Beyonce is dropping a new album.
Oh, is
Eh,
this the country album?
That's right. It's called
I have come across clips of that thing being used, that song being used in multiple
This
YouTube
Ain't
shorts.
Texas. Yeah.
This ain't Texas. There's one of them is like there's a push-up challenge. Have you seen the push-up
No,
challenge?
I haven't.
Yeah, people just doing the push-up challenge. Um,
My
I
favorite
have
is
a
when people say the skit is somebody needs an abortion and then somebody just hands them a card and says, "This ain't Texas."
I haven't seen that.
It's a good
It's
one.
dark. This isn't about the Beyonce thing specifically,
Mhm.
but you know those YouTube shorts that you see all the time, and then
Mhm.
there's like people dancing or whatever. There's a lot of like fists that
TikTok
people do when
dances.
they're
Uh-huh.
dancing or whatever.
Uh-huh.
My question is, a lot of those have hip hop in the background,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of the people that are dancing are
Uh-huh.
not hip hop people.
Okay.
The-
Whatever that means, but all right.
Whatever that at some point is there going to be a thing about like, hey, if you are a 18-year-old blonde lady, maybe you shouldn't be dancing to songs that have like the n word and stuff like that, and then like you're like mimicking and all that stuff. That feels wrong. It feels racist.
Oh no, there's so people will call that out.
Okay.
If you're a white person and you're dancing to a song that uses the N-word and you don't go out of your way to, like there's this one woman who's really funny who does all these dances, but whenever an N-word is in a song, the screen
Hmm.
just she disappears from the screen.
Okay.
So it's like a funny way of acknowledging like this is not for me. This is not a part that I need to partake in, but the rest of the song is fine. There's that, but then there's also the fact that like these like TikTok girls that got famous, like the Madison whatever lady.
Hmm.
I don't know their names. But they all got famous doing these dances and like going on Jimmy Kimmel and going on Jimmy
Yeah, I
Fallon and
remember
doing
seeing
these
it.
dances. But all those dances are originally hip hop dances that black content creators came up with. And then they just got famous because they're white. and they don't even do a good job of doing the dance.
Yeah, what's her name? Addison Ray. That was
Addison
her.
Rae. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. So it's like the conversation is already out there. It's just
Okay.
not in where you are because you are not on TikTok.
Yes. Okay. Thank God.
That's what, which is no one's about to be on TikTok because they banned it. What are your
Oh.
thoughts about that?
I don't know, man. I don't see. I think all that content coming into like I don't know if we can process all of that content so quickly. I don't know if it's a good thing. At the same time, I don't think it should be banned. I
Yeah.
think we should be able to make our choices, right? I do think that there's something that we need to maybe take it easy with all of the information that we get from the internet all the time. Sure, that's a conversation, but it should definitely not be because of some weird like racist Chinese conspiracy theory stuff, right? And that's what it feels like because I did watch some of like the Senate hearings. Did you see
Uh-huh.
that with
Yeah.
like the CEO of
Yes.
TikTok?
It's
And the
been
guy's
going
like,
on forever. The guy's like, you guys are dumb.
it's so stupid. And these are like the fucking senators of the U.S. And they're like, the guy's like, I'm Singaporean. And he's like, well, how many connections to the CCP do you have? And he's like, Senator, I'm Singaporean. And it's like
It's
they're
awful.
just trying to draw connections. So that stuff pisses me off. When I see that, I'm like, no, fuck you. Like, you don't get to choose.
Yeah, also like let's just address the fact that they've been able to unanimously vote against this, and like this bill that came up like a second ago has gone through all of the channels that they need to go through so quickly. Meanwhile, like we still can't get universal health care. We
Hmm.
still can't get childcare. We can't get universal maternal care. Maternal mortality rates are awful. We're funding a genocide. Can't stop the genocide.
Exactly.
Can stop the TikToks. And also like if the concern is like the way in which we consume information, well, YouTube now has YouTube Shorts and Instagram has
Exactly.
Reels. So we're all
Mhm.
doing the same thing. So it's not about that. It's just
And if it's like if it's a thing about like foreign interference and data collection and data mining and all
then
those things,
Meta. Hello.
Meta, and then also like if we're talking about foreign intervention, you know where we get all of our oil from? Look at what the Saudis are doing. Maybe we want to look into that.
We mustn't. We mustn't.
No.
Hey, look, there's a video of Kate out. Oh, let me go look at that. Anyway. Well, thanks, Raheel. Thanks for being here.
Oh wow, that's formal.
That's it.
Wait,
Yeah.
should I be watching this Nickelodeon thing? Because I was thinking about watching it,
It's
but
gonna
maybe I
bum
should.
you out, man. It's gonna bum you
Okay, good.
out. It
All right,
is
I'm not watching
rough. It's rough stuff. I think I'm going to be on somebody's podcast talking about it soon. So I will plug that when that happens. Oh, I saw this tweet about the founding fathers, and I think that we should talk about it for just a second. Did you know the age of the founding fathers in the year 1776?
their respective ages.
Yes,
I'm gonna say George Washington was probably in his 30s.
44.
Oh, Benny Franks was old, right?
He's not in this list. Um, James Monroe was 18.
Ugh.
Aaron Burr was 20. Alexander Hamilton was 21.
Yeah.
James Madison was 25. Thomas Jefferson was 33 and John Adams was 40, with George Washington 44. Um I don't think that we should be referencing them for anything anymore.
What, you don't think it's impressive that they were so young and they did a thing, or do you think that?
It's alarming. That's alarming. No wonder they were all like, "Oh, George Washington's a father figure." He was 44 and he was hanging out with a bunch of 18-year-olds.
But are you saying George Washington hanging out with 18-year-olds was problematic to you?
I am actually, yeah. Amongst many other things he did that was problematic.
Hey, he had a cherry tree.
The
About the cherry
teeth,
tree.
the teeth, guys, the teeth. Anyway, I think that we should, revisit how much we really care about what the founding fathers wanted, because this alarms me.
I mean, it's true, yes, but it's not like the Constitution is a pretty good document. Have you read the Constitution?
I'm-
It's pretty impressive. I don't care that it was written by
but I've like
18-year-olds.
read Reddit threads that are impressive by 18-year-olds. It's about the same thing. So like, why bother?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, dissolve the union.
What I'm saying is borders are stupid. We shouldn't be
Oh
banning
no.
TikTok. Where is Kate? and let me die in peace
There you
listening
go.
to white noise.
Sounds like a plan.